hello. This is your girl, Sariah Parker Peele. You are here on the podcast Turning the Page. I have something so great for y'all today, like I do every week. I have a star guest. Her name is Latoya Ledelle Robertson. And guess what? She is my oldest sister. Yes. She's going to be letting you know that we're going into springing into generation wealth through tax sale. Latoya, tell me a little bit about your brand, yourself, and what type of gems you're going to hit on us today on being able to become generationally wealthy through tax sale.
Hey everyone, I'm excited to be here. First and foremost, I want to say thank you, Sariah, for having me on. And thank you, listeners. Thank you for being here today because you're going to find out and hear some information that you may not have heard before. So I'm going to drop the gems, I'm going to drop the golden nuggets to you that is going to be life changing when it comes to your finances.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Let me tell you a little bit about how Latoya helped me and my husband buy our first two properties through tax sale. We're waiting for the winning certificate, but it was such a easy process as long as you do what is suggested for you to do at the time you need to do it when she tell you to. So we're part of the Tax Sale University. She is the coach, the founder, the CEO of this company. And she's been doing this for many, many years. And we did exactly what she told us to do, when to do it. And yes, the process has been coming on back to back to back. And we have two pieces of land that we will have to win the certificates for in just a few months. And we're really are doing this thing. Latoya, tell us how we can do this with you.
Yeah, so let me tell you. So my name is Latoya Ledelle Robinson. I'm the proud founder of Tax Sale University. And a person, when I say tax sale, a lot of people think taxes, right? So that's part right, but tax sales is when properties are delinquent because they haven't paid, the property taxes have not been paid. Okay, so I've been doing tax sales for over 23 years. I had the awesome opportunity to train attorneys, to train law clerks, law students, to train assistants, to train everyday people like yourself how to purchase properties for pennies on the dollar. Yes, I said you can purchase properties for pennies on the dollar. And every time when I say that to a person, they're like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Well, you can purchase property for $1,500, for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Properties that you normally would have to purchase for like $170,000, $200,000 that you can actually purchase through tax sale foreclosures. And I show everyday people like yourself how to create generational wealth through tax sale foreclosures. Now, you may be saying to yourself, how does it work? So, what happens is if you are a property owner and you own property in your state, right? Every property owner, they have to pay property taxes. And if they don't pay the property taxes, what happens is that city or that county suffers a deficit. That means that the funds for the city, the funds for the county, they're in the red. Like Baltimore City, oftentimes we look at the streets, we complain about the streets, we complain about the school systems, we complain about the police department, the fire department. But the truth is the property taxes from the properties, they actually go into maintaining the school systems, the police department, the streets, the fire department. That's where the property taxes go. So if you have an owner out there and they're not paying their property taxes, then what happens is they are contributing to the deficit of that city or of that state or of that county. Okay. And so we need property taxes. So what happened was property owners, they weren't paying that property taxes, and the cities and the states and the counties, they were suffering deficits. And somebody said, how can we keep our city, meaning our schools, thriving? How can we maintain our streets, our lives, our lights, the fire department, the police department, and our area? How can we do this? And somebody stepped up and said, why don't we sell the property tax liens? And that's what tax sale is when they auction off the property taxes. And there are thousands and thousands of vacant homes that are available for purchase for pennies on the dollar. How do I know? I've been doing it for 23 years. I've produced millionaires off of tag sales, and I want to show you how to do the same. Now, people
That
have,
is awesome.
yes. Soraya, do you have any questions before I go into like some common questions that people ask me?
Oh no, not at all. Take it over.
Okay. So common questions that people ask me, they'll say, Latoya, do I need thousands of dollars? It sounds like I'm gonna need like 30,000, 40,000, 50, $60,000 to get a property. No, you don't need that. What you do need to do is learn the tax sale process, which I teach in Tax Sale University. So I teach you the tax sale process. But what you need to know is you can own properties and you don't have to have good credit. The average person says, well, my credit isn't good. Can I qualify? In tax sales, you don't need to have a credit score. They're not looking at your credit score. The average person asks, do I have to have a great debt to income ratio? They're not looking at your debt to income ratio. They're just looking at you being the highest bidder. And through Tax Sale University, we actually train you the entire process. We take you by your hand and show you specifically how to purchase properties for pennies on the dollar. Properties that you can use for a church. For all of those clergies out there, you're looking for a church, you can get it here. For all of those people, those first-time home buyers, and you're saying, hey, I'm struggling, I don't have the credit, but I'm tired of renting, I'm tired of wasting my money, I want to buy a house, you can do it through tax sales. For those people who want to build a rental portfolio, I want to go out and I want to rent homes and properties to the masses, you can actually build your tax sale portfolio, rental portfolio through the tax sale process. Soraya, what questions do you have?
All the questions I ever had were answered through you, and you're hitting on the button right now. Like, most people think that you have to have all this money and you have to have these great scores and have to have like a great background on, being an investor and things like that, and that is not just the case. It's not the case. I'm talking about any Dick and Harry, and I'm not trying to be vulgar or anything. I'm just being real and transparent. Anyone can do this.
Yeah.
Anyone. I mean, if you have a savings account and it had $5,000 in it, you can take that 3,000 out of the five, and you can actually go into the book that you will give people as they come to you and ask you about it, and you can go and you can actually bid on, like, not even bid on it, you can select 10 properties, 15 properties out of that $3,000. That's
Yeah.
what when me and my husband did. We took $7,000, we went and got over five properties that we wanted, and three of them were pieces of land, two of them was properties. Now, mind you, in the process, yes, they did. Some of the people came back and redeemed their property, but we left the table with not just our money, but we also had interest on the money. We
Yeah.
had interest on the money that we put on the property. So it was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. We can make money on top of our money, even if we don't get the property.
Yes. So everybody, for the intricate details of the tag sales, make sure you contact me, Ladelle at gmail.com. Also, you can visit me at Ladelle on Facebook, and you can reach out to me. We actually have a team, a professional team who knows the tag sale process. We've been doing it for 23 years and we know the ins and outs. There are some pitfalls that you need to avoid. A lot of newbies, they make mistakes because they're not aware of pitfalls. They go in and they say, oh my goodness, I can purchase this property, but they don't know how to avoid the pitfalls. So Tax Sale University, we teach you the process and we also teach you how to avoid costly pitfalls. So make sure you reach out. This right here is a game changer. There are a lot of other races, especially the Jewish culture. They are making millions and billions of dollars off of tax sales. And it's time for us, time for you to be a part and to collect and to reap the benefits of tax sale as well. And like Sariah was saying, even if you say to yourself, hey, I want to look for a way to recession proof my income, to create income. I have money in a bank and the money is just sitting there in a bank, and I want to recession proof my income. You can actually do it through tax sales. So say for instance you have $50,000 and it's just sitting in a bank and it's collecting less than 1% interest. You can take that money and put it in tax sale, and you know what you'll get? You'll get 18% interest. 18%. The bank isn't giving you 18% interest. So tax sale is also a way where you can recession proof your money, all while earning exponential wealth through interest. You can actually do that. You can actually earn 18% interest. So tax sales is a great way to secure generational wealth. It's an excellent way.
Yes,
So
it is.
if you want to learn more information, Ledelle@gmail.com, textelu@gmail.com. You can reach out to me at Ledelle on the Facebook, on my Facebook platform. You can reach out to me as well. If you have any questions, put your questions below. Put your questions and your comments below, and I can actually help you. There are several myths that's out there regarding tax sale. Please do not pay any attention to the myths, because the myths are inaccurate. In Baltimore City, there is a host of vacant properties waiting for investors like you to engage in tax sales so that you can benefit. You can create generational wealth through purchasing the properties for pennies on the dollars, all while adding value to the neighborhood. When you purchase a property that is vacant and you fix it up, you're adding value back to that neighborhood. And Sariah, when you go out through Baltimore, tell me what you see. What do you see when you go out through Baltimore?
So I work with a lot of attorneys, and by the grace of God, I was able to work with Latoya at her law firm that she was actually the office manager of, some years ago. And I'm now also partnered up with these attorneys, and I do all their tax-out properties. And I actually go out there and I see that some of these tax-out properties might have squatters in it. They might have no one in it. They might just have be infestation, whatever it may be. But I would go to these properties and see that it might be no work that needs to be done but cosmetic work. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what in the world is this about? Like, they really just got this from off of pennies of a dollar. So they get these properties pennies of a dollar, and there's a lot of vacant properties out here in Baltimore. Actually, all my investors that I work with and I do property manager for are out of state investors. Out of state
Mm-hmm.
investors. So I'm also a wholesaler. I'm an investor myself. I work with you with tax sale. I actually go out to these properties, clean them out. And if I just go out to a property and clean it out and put it back onto the auction, you can get $10,000 extra just for them to being able to see how the house can look once it's fixed up. Like, so every little thing you do to these properties add value to it for you to be able to put it in your pocket or put it back into the home and make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yes, yes. And so, right, I'm glad you said it. A lot of these homes out here, people talk about Baltimore City. They're like, hey, we need to make some changes in Baltimore City. And one of the changes I see from being in the textile industry and dealing with real estate, one of the changes that is necessary is to build up our communities. And
Yeah.
how do you build up the communities? How do you build it? The building up requires an increase in economics. So that's how you build up something. You add worth to it. You add value to it. So our communities need value, need worth, need value added to our communities. And how do we add value to these communities? Actually, we can go in and we can start by purchasing these vacant houses, because if you're in Baltimore City, you'll see a lot of vacant properties. You'll see a lot
Hmm.
of vacant properties, and it starts by taking those vacant properties, purchasing them, fixing them up. And when you fix those properties up, what happens is it increases the value of the entire neighborhood. So that whole block, the value increases. So say for instance, if one block has three vacant homes, and say for instance an investor goes in and they buy the three homes, that block is going to increase in value exponentially. So it's very important that we start thinking that way. When you go into the Jewish part of uh Park Heights, I don't see any vacant blocks there. If we want to keep it real, I don't see any vacant I don't see any vacant homes there. When we go there, you see that they're building up. They're creating all kinds of resource centers, and they're building up the real estate. And in that hub, in that area, you can see that the value is great. Now, we can actually do the same right here in Baltimore, in the predominantly African American areas. We can do the same thing, but it's going to require us to have investors who will say, "Let me go in and purchase these properties at value back into the community." And while they're doing that, they're creating generational wealth for themselves. So this right here would benefit not only our communities, but it would also benefit the investors as well. And you can do this through tax sales. Is a great way of you acquiring properties for pennies on a dollar and creating a rental portfolio, or becoming a first time home owner, or actually purchasing a property for a business and outreach, for a ministry, and so forth.
Yes, indeed. Toya, I want to thank you so much for actually hopping on here and giving us this information for free that most people did not know how easy it is to create wealth through tax sale. If you had $500 in the bank, and I'm not kidding you, I
Hmm.
told you that I actually went in there and I pulled out at least about 5 to 7 properties, and a lot of those properties only were about 200, 300, 400, $500. And I had gotten those properties. And then, of course, they redeemed the properties, but I was able to get my money back with money on top of that.
Hmm.
You cannot beat that. You cannot beat that. And that all happened within a week.
Yes.
1 week.
So, right, I want to say one more thing that you hit on. The way tax sales are structured is supposed to be a win win. So, that means either you're supposed to walk away with the property. Okay. So, that a lot of people get into it because they want to walk away with the property. But if for some reason you don't walk with the property, meaning the property owner redeems the property, then you should walk away. If you're doing it correctly, you should walk away with all of your money back plus interest. So it's a win-win. So in essence, you walk away with the property, or you walk away with all of your money back plus interest. And many people, I have tax sale university members, that they don't care about the properties, they just want the interest. Okay. And I have some people that don't care about the interest, they just want the properties. But either way, it's supposed to be a win-win. And when you do it correctly, you walk away with a win either way. And tax sale university teaches you how to do it correctly, where you walk away and it's a win-win, because there are other people out there that are doing tax sale, and they don't know the process, and they're doing it incorrectly, and so therefore it's not a win-win. But tax sale university teaches you how to purchase properties for pennies on a dollar, and for it to be a win-win for you.
Well, thank God that it was a win-win for my husband and I. Thank God
Yeah,
you are my sister. And
yeah,
I did follow your instructions. I follow your suggestions. And I did just that. And we won. We
yeah,
won, and we're going to keep winning because
yeah,
God promised us. He promised us that we should have abundance in our
yeah,
financial, in our marriage, in our happiness, and everything in our life. He
yeah,
promised us that.
yeah,
And people got to understand that you have to believe it to receive it. You
yes.
can't just receive what you don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
You might not see it, but it's there. You
Yeah,
have to believe it to receive it. And then I also found out we are required to fight, not required to fight for victory, but required to fight in the victory of
yeah.
his promise.
Mm-hmm.
In the victory of his promise. So if you cannot fight
Mm-hmm.
in victory, then it's no way you can fight for victory.
I love what you said, Sariah, about fighting. Oftentimes people, when they think about fighting, they think about, hey, you just taking out a sword, or you taking out a weapon. But sometimes the weapon is actually you moving. The weapon
Hmm.
is you getting up and moving. What do I mean by you moving? That you do something different. A lot of people, they want to have financial wealth, but they're doing the same things, and so sometimes it requires you to get up and to do something different, to educate yourself about ways where you can become financially secure, to start doing things different, and to actually get a coach. It's good to get a coach sometimes, but for you to learn different ways, another way how to do it, that's another way how you can fight, is to get up and to start doing. Don't talk about it, be about it, do it.
And you're so right. The thing about it is not going to be comfortable. But
Hmm.
when you start feeling that you're uncomfortable, believe you me, take it from me. You're doing something right.
Yes.
You're doing something right. Until you get uncomfortable, nothing's going to change.
Yes,
The
exactly.
same thing you're doing is always going to have the same results. It was like that for me for 26 years. Get my book. And then the other book that I was just a part of, which is a anthology project that became number one seller and internationally seller in 6 categories. Let me tell you, this sister right here, she's the connector of all nations, and she's connecting you with some gems, some wealth, some money, some happiness, some changes, and some things that need to be done in your life today. So please subscribe. And if you do not want to listen to the podcast, at least share it. Share it with someone else until you're ready to make a change. Thank you so much. This is Sariah Parker. You on Turning the Page. And Latoya, do you want to say anything to the viewers today?
I just want to say, just be encouraged. Be encouraged. And when you dream about wealth, see yourself. See yourself. I mean, oftentimes we dream about wealth and we see other people, on Facebook and in social media, but see yourself. You too can be wealthy. You too can be wealthy. When I say wealthy, I'm talking about financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You can actually be prosperous. You have to see yourself doing it, and then you have to walk it out, meaning execute what is necessary.
That's what I'm talking about. And because of that, we are out and we will see you at the top.